My mother was the sun my entire world revolved around. She was a woman of quiet grace, impeccable routine, and a love so steady it felt like the ground beneath my feet. When we lost her to a sudden illness, the ground gave way, and my world plunged into a grey, silent emptiness. It fell to me, Clara, to sort through the life she had left behind, a lifetime packed into the silent rooms of our family home. 2 weeks after the funeral, I finally found the strength to tackle her bedroom closet. The scent of her perfume still clung to her clothes, a ghostly presence that made my chest ache. In the very back, tucked away on the top shelf, was a small wooden box I had never seen before. Inside, nestled on faded velvet, was a silver locket, a stack of old letters, and a small diary. My hands trembled as I opened the locket. Inside was a tiny photograph of a handsome young man I didn't recognize. The letters, written in my mother's youthful script, were passionate love letters to a dearest Michael. They spoke of a forbidden love, dreams of running away, and a final, heartbreaking letter written a year before she married my father. "My parents have made a decision for me," she wrote. "I am to marry a good, stable man. My life is no longer my own. Forgive me, Michael. I will love you until the day I die." I felt like an intruder, a spy in my own mother's life. But a force I couldn't control compelled me to open the diary. The entries were short, frantic, and filled with pain. And then I read the one that shattered my world. The 12th of October. Michael is gone. He left town without a word. My parents are pleased. The wedding is in 2 months. They don't know the worst of it. They don't know about the life growing inside me, Michael's child. I am so alone. What am I going to do? My breath caught in my throat. A child? My mother had a child before me? A sister I never knew? The final entry was a single devastating sentence. I named her Amelia. I pray to God she has a better life than the one I could have given her. The silence in the room was deafening. Every memory I had of my family suddenly felt like a beautifully constructed lie. I had a sister, an older sister. Clutching the box, I stumbled out to the living room where my father was staring blankly out the window, a ghost haunting his own home. I had to know the truth. "Dad," I said, my voice hoarse, holding up the box. "I found this. I read the diary. Did you know I have a sister?" A look of profound pain crossed his face. "Yes, Clara," he whispered, his voice cracking. "I knew. But the diary doesn't tell you the whole truth. It doesn't tell you the real reason she had to give her away." The story then tumbled out of him, a torrent of secrets kept for over 30 years. Michael wasn't a tragic hero. He was dangerous, involved in crime. He hadn't left town heartbroken. He had abandoned my pregnant mother when he got in trouble with the law. My grandparents, terrified, had arranged her marriage to my father, a kind of family friend who had always loved her. "I knew everything," my father confessed, tears streaming down his face. "I offered to raise the baby as my own. But your grandparents insisted she give the child up for adoption. They said it was the only way to be free from Michael's shadow, so that you could be born into a safe life. My anger melted away, replaced by an aching sadness for my mother's impossible choice, and a profound wave of love for my father, the man who had protected her secret his entire life. That night, sleep was impossible. The name Amelia echoed in my mind. She was my sister, and I had to find her. The diary gave me a starting point. After months of dead ends, I hired a private investigator, and one day he called. He had found her. Amelia Rose Thompson, a first-grade teacher, living just 3 states away. She was married with a son, my nephew. The investigator warned me to be cautious. She might not even know she was adopted. For a week, I just stared at the address on the piece of paper. What right did I have to storm into her life and detonate a truth bomb that could shatter her world just as it had shattered mine? I almost gave up. But then I looked at the faded photo of my mother, and I knew I had to do it for her, for both of us. I drove the 6 hours to Amelia's town, my stomach in knots. Her house was a charming blue colonial with a white picket fence and a swing set in the backyard. It was the picture of a happy, complete life. I sat in my car for an hour, my courage failing me with every passing minute, before I finally took a deep breath, walked up the path, and rang the doorbell. The woman who answered the door was my mother's ghost. She had my mother's smile, her warm, kind eyes, but her hair was a fiery red. She looked at me, a stranger on her doorstep, with a polite but questioning gaze. "Can I help you?" she asked. My carefully rehearsed speech evaporated. All the words I had practiced in the car vanished. All I could do was stammer, "My name is Clara. I think we might be sisters." The color drained from her face. She didn't slam the door. She didn't call me crazy. She just stared at me, her eyes searching my face, and I saw a flicker of recognition, a missing piece of her own puzzle clicking into place. She opened the door wider. "You'd better come in," she said softly. Over the next few hours, we talked. I told her everything, showing her the locket, the letters, the diary. She, in turn, told me that she had always felt like something was missing, that she'd discovered she was adopted in her late teens, but had never searched for her birth mother, fearing the rejection that might come with it. There were tears, of course. Tears of sadness for the mother we both lost, but never got to share. Tears of anger for the secrets that had kept us apart. And eventually, tears of a strange, tentative joy. When her husband and young son came home, she introduced me not as a stranger, but with a wavering, wondrous voice as Aunt Clara. It hasn't been a fairy tale. Building a relationship 30 years late is complicated and messy. There are moments of awkwardness and questions that can never truly be answered. But in my sister's eyes, I see my mother's legacy. In my nephew's laugh, I hear an echo of my own family. My mother's secret, born from pain and fear, had ultimately led to an unexpected gift. The truth didn't erase the past, but it opened the door to a new future, one where I was no longer an only child, but a sister. And for the first time since my mother died, my world no longer felt empty. It felt bigger.